Hi everyone, and just want to say we're doing a March 2017 reading, and it is following up on last month's reading about change. So I'm not sure if that started quite right. So it's a March 2017 tarot card reading, and so it's following up on everything we talked about last month in terms of change, but this time we have major arcana cards showing up, and that is going to be talking about a much more forceful, more present, more energetic change. So we're starting about change. I'm going to show you the cards. I use the Aquarian deck. I've probably been using it for 25 or 30 years, and so I like it. It just speaks to me. So the first card that showed up was death. And there you go. Let me see if I got that right. Yep, there you go. Now, so we see the word death and we think, oh my God, and it's calamity, it's disaster. But in fact, that's not it. Because what we're talking about is we're talking about death in terms of change and rebirth. So before we can bring in a new set of beliefs, we have to kill off the old ones, so to speak, or give them up. And so what we're talking about here is the death card is like our blessing card for the day. And it is the card that will, so the blessing here is that we're being asked once again, we're being shown that we have opportunity to change. And the thing about opportunity to change is that the universe, strangely, has this way of, if we don't listen to the message the first time, the next time the message comes around, it's going to be just a little louder. And if we ignore that one, then the message is going to come around again for change, and it's going to be a little bit louder, and so on and so on and so on, until it is absolutely unavoidable to look at what needs changing. So this one is, the death card is big changes, radical changes, and I would say almost harsh changes, in that this voice for change is very loud at this time. And so, we might want to take a listen to it. But that's what it really is it's rebirth, change, usually in our belief structures, and big changes are coming both personally and in the wider world. So again, change. And we're going to talk about it in a little bit in the third card that we're looking at. So the second card is the challenge. So this is what we've got in front of us. This is what we're going to have to overcome. And so what we have here is the Emperor reversed. So this is typically, for the way that I read, an inner change, looking at belief structures. And in reverse, one of the things that is involved in this card reversed is limited self-control. So I want to talk about change in terms of our self-control. So here's the thing. We're hardwired to the way we believe. And not only are we hardwired, the longer we've believed something, the more transparent it comes to us. In that, we sit in a place of like, well, of course that's the way it is. Well, maybe it isn't. And I think that people who have sort of been on the liberal, left-leaning, transformational, human consciousness, personal development side, we can get as ingrained in our belief structures and in taking a look at the way we think things ought to happen as anybody in the closed-off right-wing area. So I think we both have changes to look at. So we have these hardwired belief structures. Now, changing them can be a little bit difficult. And we know that in terms of change, science has shown us that we need 8 to 10 weeks in order to change something. So if you're starting a new program at the gym, you kind of want to make sure that you work it into your schedule, you figure it out, and over the period of 8 weeks, you will change your structure and your belief structure and your time so that the change actually takes place in the physical world. With our belief structures, what we need to do is find some way to support ourselves in that change, which means that we have to start identifying what it is that is holding us back, what it is that's gone rigid. And sometimes that's really difficult, because if we're not really good at being able to step outside of ourselves and observe ourselves just being in the world, you kind of have to practice that. And you need to have support with that. One of the things that I've done over the years is be part of groups that are working on change together, and it's kind of, if you're being held accountable to a group so that your word becomes your bond, not bondage, but your bond, and that you work towards what it is you said you would do, and you kind of work at that. Now, I've joined numerous groups over the years. It's always been successful. I've also found journaling has been successful. One of the things that has been hugely successful for me is to make a list every day of 10 things that worked really, really well, 10 things that just went to hell in a handbasket. And it's interesting to see what happens. Try that for 10 days and see what happens for yourself. See what you notice there. So the whole challenge is because we don't want to change easily, the challenge here is to look at how you're changing, to monitor how you're changing, and to put things out there that you want to work on. And it's not a manifestation goal list. It's like just finding out where you are right now and what it is that you want to change. So, what else have I got here? Right. Oh, third card, King of Swords. Upright card. And he's not a major arcana card, but he is the king, the high card of the swords in the deck. And this card embodies very forceful energy, extremely forceful energy. And there is also a need to change involved in this card. And so we're talking about a need to change in your beliefs, your thoughts, and your expectations. So beliefs, one of the things that we also can add into the mix here is putting some new input into our belief system. So we're not going to adopt a new set of beliefs if it doesn't resonate or make sense to us in some way. So that, again, is why change is so difficult, because the way we've been living our lives and the way we're hardwired makes sense to us. Otherwise, we wouldn't be doing it. But if we want to change that, we have to find things that make sense to us. So what have I said here? All right, so active meditation may be a good choice. It allows us to pause, to draw into ourselves, to listen to our inner voices. I'm not, and obviously have never been, a big fan of something like Vipassana meditation, because it's about emptying out your mind, and mind's always going. So, and I also happen to be, I also happen to have synesthesia, so I never get into that dark room. Any sound makes colors in my brain, so it's kind of a little difficult. So what we need to do is explore some of our resources. So you could go look in the self-help book. You could take a look at some ways in which you want to recontextualize your stuff. There's the Center for Attitudinal Healing. That's Jerry Jampolsky. Great stuff there. Of course, Marianne Williamson and all of her stuff. There's the Course in Miracles. And there's a ton of Course in Miracle groups online. And there's videos, like YouTube has a wealth of lectures, TED Talks. TED Talks are going to offer us some new ways of looking at things and to recontextualize where we've been coming from. In a practical way, the situation that we found ourselves in, either in Canada or from a country outside of the U.S., observing what's happening there, there's certainly a catalyst happening there that is saying, who are we? What do we stand for? How do we engage? And whether or not we're going to get involved. Those same things apply to us as individuals as well. Who are we? Who do we bring to the table? And where do we want to go? What is it that we want to do? Are we willing to say, nope, I'm all good. I don't need to change. Everything works just great. Wonderful. What happens if something knocks you off that? Do you have the resources to deal with that? Are you looking at those kinds of things? So those are, on a personal level, also input. That's why I keep on saying it's about our personal belief structure, because who we are personally is who we bring out into the world. And so taking a look at what our personal belief structures are, how we want to be in the world, it's easy to sit behind keys on Facebook and to make decisions and to put things out there. But really, when you're out and about in the world doing face-to-face real time, are you the same person? And if you're not, why not? What's stopping you? What's holding you back? So those are all, I'm sorry, March is just a whole bunch of change and questions. I don't have any answers for them because, of course, I have my own journey to follow and to take a look at. And I just wanted to let you know and suggest that it's time for some new input. There's times to break down old thought forms, old belief systems, and move on. So that's the March reading. I didn't mention the tea I was drinking tonight. It's actually Murchie's Irish Breakfast Tea. Murchie's is online. I think they even have a Facebook page. Great tea. Started drinking their tea and hot chocolate, which I love, way back in my university days when I was at the University of Victoria an eon and a half ago. Also, just want to let you know I am available for private readings. Typically, it's one topic, 3 questions, or up to 3 questions. Unless you want a general reading that's covering career, finances, and love life. But usually people have an area they want to focus on. And so that is 20 minutes, 3-card reading, 1 topic, 3 questions. And for that, I charge $25. You can private message me, and I'd be happy to set up a time. We do video calls. Works like a charm. Works really, really well. So it doesn't make any difference where you are in the world. We can still do it. Thank you, Facebook video calling. So that's it for tonight, and we'll see you again shortly. And I still want to do a Zoom meeting where we all get together with our cups of teas, and let's have a discussion about the practical ways to bring our spiritual life into the world, to bring our higher consciousness, our best self, our highest being into the world. Because one at a time, as we raise our own personal energy and we bring that into the world, we raise the consciousness of the world. And there are big changes happening. We'll talk about that again another night. All right, there you go. That's it. PM me for private readings, and we'll set up a time that works for you. Enjoy your tea. Have a great night, and looking forward to all the fabulous things that are going to be happening to us in the month of March. Talk to you soon. Bye.